Hey everyone, this is Steven, and I'm here with a very special car today. This is the 2021 BMW M440i xDrive Coupe. As you can see, you've got the super controversial hognose grille. I will give thoughts about that in a moment, but just wanted to give you a quick shot here of the car and the beautiful Chicago skyline in the back. In today's review, we'll be going over the exterior, the interior of the car, the tech features, and some driving impressions before we close with some overall thoughts. And make sure to like and subscribe for some more content coming in the near future. As a quick overview of the M440i in the BMW lineup, this is essentially the coupe version of the very wildly popular 3 Series car. The 4 Series was introduced back in 2013 for the first generation and hasn't actually been fully redesigned for a second generation until now. So this is the second generation of the 4 Series here, and it comes in just at about $58,000 for the base MSRP for the M440i. This car actually here is almost fully loaded, essentially. It has every single package available except for the driving assistance package, which I really missed. That's a $1,700 option there. But this actually comes out right around $68,000. Okay, so let's just get out of the way from the start. The grille, the very controversial grille, probably one of the most controversial design choices of 2021, right? I'm gonna say that I don't hate it. I wouldn't say I love it, but I do really like how BMW here distinguishes themselves from the competition, right? The Audi S5 it looks very similar to the other Audi sedans, right? Or coupes. The Mercedes C43, right? That's a gorgeous looking car, but still looks very similar to the C300 coupe. This car definitely looks very different. You can tell this is an M440i, or just, the 4 Series, the redesigned 4 Series, from a mile away, right? The back, I love the back. I feel like the back is probably one of the strongest parts of the car. You've got the really nice badging here. It looks really good. The taillights, I love that design. I think it looks very nice. The rear diffuser here looks good, sounds great. Listen to that sound. You've got 2 really nice tailpipes here, which are really just containers for the actual tailpipes under the car. You got some non-functioning vents right here, unfortunately, but there's a lot of functioning vents in the front. So kind of moving back to the front of the car, you've got the wheels. These are the 19-inch M wheels. Really beautiful. You can actually, it comes default with the blue painted calipers, but looks like this car optioned for the red ones, which I think really look good with the white exterior here. But these are all-season tires, 19-inch. They look really fantastic. And going back to the front fascia here, these lights, I can't talk enough about them. I honestly think they are becoming my favorite lights out of all of the competition right now. And I really love the bottom of the front fascia here. I feel like these vents look really good. They are fully functional and yeah, incredibly looking. You can see the blue laser lights here. If you actually zoom in here, I wonder if you can see it here. It says BMW Laser, and we've got some really nice LED lighting from the very front of the car. So overall, I do think the car has a very striking appearance, which is important, right? I feel like in the modern day, not enough car makers actually take risks with their design, and this car definitely did. You might notice that these are actually black rear side mirrors. That's actually part of the $300 Shadowline package, which kind of just blacks out your mirror caps and a few other small areas of the car. So going underneath the hood of the 2021 BMW M440i, we've got the very popular turbocharged 3-liter inline 6 here. We've got some really gorgeous badging on the inside. I love the M Performance that mentions here. Remember that M Performance is actually not the same thing as an M car. So the M4 is actually the higher performance model of the M440i here. Horsepower and torque, we've got 382 horsepower and 364 pound-feet of torque. So I wanted to demonstrate the kick feature of the car. So just kind of kick under the car. You can see the trunk lifts right open. Very convenient when you have, hands full of groceries. So going into the trunk here, you can see that we've actually got a decent amount of space here for a 2-door coupe. Compared to most rivals, I would say this actually has more. BMW quotes 13 cubic feet of space here. It's actually pretty deep in here, and this is thanks to the extra 5 inches that came in the current generation compared to the previous generation. Gives the trunk more space and the rear passengers a bit more space. Alright, so before moving on to the interior of the car, I want to show you guys what the 3-liter inline 6 sounds like. Alright, so let's fire up the car and hear how a cold start sounds on a chilly Chicago day. Push button start right here, foot on the brake, it actually lights up for you. Oh, it sounds really, really good. You hear that nice growl. Really, really nice sound. And notice how you didn't have that traditional starter sound of the engine because of the 48-volt mild hybrid system there. It's supposed to add a few more horsepower to the engine, and it also gives you really, really smooth shifts, especially with the auto stop and start feature. Alright, so let's get out of this chilly weather and go into the interior of this car. So from the outside, some notable things. You've got the M logo on your door sills here. This model here has the gorgeous red leather seats. I love these. I think they're the best looking option available for the seats. Closing the door. It sounds really, really good. So quiet inside. And you see the red trim actually extends onto the side of the door and everything. We've got 2-person memory seats here. Got some good storage here. This feels really good here. Got a nice little cup holder here as well. You have 2 cup holders in the middle for my Starbucks drinks here. And then the same design pretty much as the BMW X7 that I drove a few weeks ago. So for this specific tester here, we've got the aluminum mesh effect trim throughout the center console here. I think it looks really, really good with the red leather here. You've also got some of it on the dash and kind of, you know, a nice aluminum that outlines the rest of the dash on the car. Going into the center console pretty briefly here, we've got a USB port right here, and some decent storage. Not enough to actually fit this large tissue box. Let me show you right here. Doesn't really fit perfectly here, can't actually close it, but for smaller items, definitely a good convenient spot to store that. So going from the armrest and storage unit to the center console area, you can open this by kind of clicking there. That looks really fancy and really good there. We've got 2 cup holders before, like I demonstrated. You've got some nice storage here for your Starbucks drinks, water bottles, whatever else you want. You've got 1 USB port there, and you have your wireless charging tray right here, which fits an iPhone 12 pretty perfectly there. This is a $500 upgrade alongside the Wi-Fi mobile hotspot as well. Starting from the bottom part of this center console stack here, you've got the auto hold feature, which I love. I talk about it a lot in the BMW X7 review that I put up earlier. You got the different drive modes here: Adaptive, Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport, and this also has the Sport Plus feature in it as well. This is your push button start. I don't love the placement of this. I really think that all of them should be up here, kind of near the actual steering wheel, but in general, you know, you'll get used to it pretty quickly here. You've got some of your different parking aids here. A lot of these are only, so for example, this button right here, which takes you to that 3D view, only comes in the $700 parking assistance package. You got a nice gear shift selector right here. I wouldn't say I love it or hate it, kind of just very neutral about it, but pretty modern. And then here you've got some other hard buttons for your infotainment controls, which, like I said before, a lot of people really, really like these. You can see that we've actually got really decent storage here. Oh, look how gorgeous that outside is. And a decent amount of space in the back here. I think BMW quotes about 34.5 inches of legroom for the backseat passengers, which is much more than Coupes usually gets. You can actually fit people back there. There is no middle seat. You'll see this bench, the middle seat doesn't really work actually. You probably won't have anyone actually sitting there. There isn't actually a seat belt, but you do have a pull down area where you can see right there that actually gives you some cup holders. Some USB ports, I believe, as well. So wanted to show you going into the back of the car here. Pretty easy to get there. There is a handle, there's a little latch thing in the back of this car right here. Perfect. And just move it forward, and you'll see actually the car power slides a bit forward so that you have space to get in. Pretty slow, kind of reminds me of that BMW X7, right, where it's super slow moving in, but this time you do have some manual intervention you need. But yeah, getting in the back, it feels good. It really does. These seats are really nice. You have pretty ample room here. Headroom I wouldn't say is the best. Definitely better for shorter passengers here. But again, you've got a digital tri-zone climate control back here, so I can set it to whatever temperature I want back here. And you've got some USB ports as well. So really not a bad place to be for a two-door coupe. One part that I didn't show earlier in the review of the interior is when you first get in the car, you close the door. The seatbelt actually extends forward so that you don't have to reach all the way back there and grab it. Same thing for the passenger side as well. Once you plug it in, it goes right back into its slot. Another one of my favorite interior features here is the gorgeous ambient lighting. Same color choices you have in the BMW X7 that I reviewed, but I still like it just as much. The back seats actually don't get the ambient lighting, but one thing I noticed here, which I actually don't remember if it was in the X7 or not, you've got some ambient lighting from overhead here. I think that looks really, really good in the nighttime. One cool thing I wanted to demonstrate here is that the door ambient lighting actually changes to this pulsing red color to indicate that the door's open, in case you're trying to figure out which door is actually still open. So moving back to the driver's seat here, the classic BMW steering wheel here feels really, really good. I love the leather. It feels a lot better than most of the competitors I've driven. And you've got some nice paddle shifters in the back here as well. Like I said before, this car actually doesn't have the driver's assistance package, so it doesn't have the adaptive cruise control, which would be right here. But we do have normal cruise control. Got the heated steering wheel right here, and you've got some other infotainment controls on the right-hand side. Very, very simple, very easy to use. Kind of segueing right into the tech here, you've got the 12.3 digital instrument cluster right here. You've got the map in the middle, you've got the media on the right-hand side, which is actually configurable on this button on the turnstock. I can actually change what I want to see there. Different displays. And then you've also got your speedometer on the left hand side, and then depending on what actual drive mode you're in, so whether you're in sports or comfort, you can actually change what appears on the right hand side right here. You can also see we've got the heads-up display right there. That is also dynamically configured based on whatever drive mode you're in. So if you're in comfort, it'll show something different. If you're in a Sport Plus, it'll show the power gauge right there on the top. And then you've got the typical digital speedometer. Moving on, I want to call out the Harman Kardon sound system in this car. It's an $875 upgrade. Really, really nice. Probably one of the best sound systems I've heard in a car of this size. So before moving to more of the tech in the infotainment system here, wanted to call out the key fob. Looks really, really good. This is actually their new design that I think came out in one of the recent model years. You've got the typical unlock, lock with the BMW button, which is pretty cool. You've got the tailgate opening, and you've got the panic button as well. For your M440i's, you will actually have this really nice M badging here as well. So just one of those other places where they want you to know you're driving an M performance car and not just your normal 4 Series. When you put the car in reverse, let's see the right side mirror tilts down so that you can see anything obstructing your path backwards. In addition to the side mirrors tilting downwards, the infotainment system is actually going to give you the 3D view here, which is super cool. This is actually only part of the $700 driver assistance package, but I would highly recommend taking that. You've got this awesome 3D view here. You can actually change which viewpoint you want to see your car from. So you can kind of see I'm kind of parked in the middle of this parking lot here. You've got the gorgeous Chicago skyline in the back. How cool is that? One feature I wanted to showcase here is the car wash mode. I went through a pretty cool, crazy car wash in the Chicagoland area, and what essentially car wash mode does is it gives you a top-down view of the front of your car. So you can see those 2 lines help you guide yourself onto the conveyor belt and then keep you in a straight line. I've also heard people use this in narrow drive-through lanes to avoid scraping the curbs and stuff like that. So pretty nifty little feature that I just wanted to showcase here in a quick video. One of the cool features that I wanted to show off in this car is called gesture control, and it only comes in the $3,700 executive package, but I'd highly recommend taking that package since it comes with some other goodies like the heads-up display, heated seats, and the heated steering wheel. So, for example, one of the coolest gestures that doesn't always work, but you can actually make a circle and it increases the volume of the music. Alternatively, you can do that and it goes down. Another cool one is the skip function. So you go like that and it skips to the next song. So closing off the tech portion of this review, we'll go into the infotainment system here. We've got your typical BMW iDrive 7 here, which is the newest generation. We've got it on a gorgeous 10.3-inch display here. Very, very crystal clear resolution here. It actually doesn't take up the full thing, which is kind of weird, right? Like, I feel like it should take up the full 12.3-inch display that you see in the BMW X7, but it doesn't, and there is no option to actually get that. But we've got the iDrive 7, which, you know, you guys probably know this pretty clearly. You've got some cool different settings. They're all very easy to navigate. I really like using the touchpad in the center console to kind of navigate. I just feel like it is very intuitive, honestly much more intuitive than, for example, the Lexus infotainment system. But the actual touch control works really, really well as well. For example, one of my favorite features here is the carrying car thing. This one doesn't have the experience modes that the BMW X7 had, but I'm really happy we have the carrying car here. So I think I could use some vitalization right now, actually. So let's click it, see what happens. Whoa. I feel very vitalized now. You can see it tells you what it's doing, right? Music, it changed, oh, 64 degrees, it's turning up the fan. You can see here we've got full screen wireless Apple CarPlay compatibility here and Android Auto compatibility as well. I don't want to go too in-depth about the iDrive system. You can check out my BMW X7 review, which is linked out right here for more information on that system, but I did want to emphasize how smooth and responsive the system is, right? You've got a really nice navigation system, of course, still hard to compete with Apple CarPlay, but you know, it is responsive as far as the you know, built-in infotainment goes. Otherwise, all the buttons are very responsive, right? Like all my touchscreen things, there's no real lag here. Clicking in is very, very simple, very easy to drag and configure the different widgets that show up here. And overall, just a very smooth, responsive system, and I feel like it's one of the best in the industry right now. So after driving this car around Chicago for the last 3 days or so, I feel like my overall driving impressions of this, very, very fun car. You know, when you want it, you can get that power. Sport Plus sounds awesome, feels really, really good. I really like that. I rarely had it in comfort if I ever did, but the times I did have it in comfort, I feel like very smooth, very quiet, pretty, you know, very, very good Grand Tour. And I totally understand why people are saying that this car kind of loses identity, because you have a sports car. It looks very, very aggressive, right? The grille. You have this sports car that also can really just be a GT car, right? Just any car that you would take on a road trip. Obviously not the most practical when it's only a 2-door, but when the Grand Coupe version comes out, which is the 4-door version of this car, I expect a lot of people to be buying that instead of the 3 Series, right? Why would you buy the 3 Series when you can get the 4 Series, which is more fun, looks more aggressive, right? I feel like that's just kind of what people are going to be going towards. I'm in some pretty typical Chicago stop-and-go traffic right now, and really wishing I had the $1,700 driver assistance package, which includes stop-and-go traffic and traffic jam assist. Basically, that's BMW's form of radar cruise control. Unfortunately, this car is pretty much fully loaded except for that one option, which I really, really wish I had right now. So doing some freeway driving here feels really, really good. Like a lot of people have talked about, the car definitely feels very fast when you want it to be, and also very comfortable when you want it to be. So right now I'm in Sport Plus. You might be able to hear the engine a little bit in the background. The road noise is, you know, not the quietest thing, right? Not like the X7 that I just drove. But, you know, I'll try to get a little bit of a rev here in a little bit. You can probably hear the engine when I do this. Yeah, and it really hauls very fast. I just passed like 5 cars like that. So definitely a very, very fast car, a fun car, but also really comfortable. And I think a lot of people will like that you can do, you know, both fun things with it, but also feel very comfortable with passengers and stuff. Some final thoughts on this car. I really recommend this for people who are looking for something that's fun and sporty, but also can be comfortable. You can definitely take this on a long road trip, and I don't think it would be uncomfortable at all. Definitely something I would recommend is getting a lot of packages. So like I said before, this car is almost fully loaded, has pretty much all the tech features you can think of, but that gives you a pretty high price point, right? We're almost at $70K. That puts it almost higher than some of the, you know, I feel like the Mercedes AMG C43. That can also get pretty expensive. I feel like that, in terms of MSRP, probably the closest competition you can get. I believe that starts at just about $59K as well, but can easily go to $70, $80K, just kind of like this car. But having the packages, the Harman Kardon sound system for $875, really, really nice addition here, and really gives it those luxury feels, and makes this really a nice GT car. Of course, the Grand Coupe is coming out later this year as well, and that's going to be the actual 4-door version of this car. I feel like if you want, you know, to have a bit more practicality in your car, probably recommend going with that one instead of this 2-door. But as I demonstrated earlier, the back seats aren't the most uncomfortable things, so you can definitely go with those. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Justin on Turo for renting me this awesome M440i for the last few days. If you want to check out the exact same car in the Chicago area, see the beautiful skyline right there, check it out. The link will be in the description below. So that's pretty much it for the in-depth review of the M440i here. Thanks for watching, everyone, and make sure to check out my other video here and subscribe down here.